This is not clickbait, this is not magic. You will need to practice what I'm about to teach you. Have you ever wondered how to parry, block, or dodge delayed attacks? The enemy is giving you clear indicators that they're about to attack. Sometimes the attack starts with a long animation. Other times the windup is as slow as potatoes and molasses. Then the attack comes and knocks you on your asses. You either dodge too early or too late. Sometimes fast combos are easier to deal with compared to delayed attacks because they have a good rhythm. What if I tell you there's a way to see the exact moment to dodge or block a delayed attack? I'm going to demonstrate various techniques I use on a range of enemies from different games. I can't claim to have played every single Souls or Souls-like out there, so it's impossible to cover every variation from every game. Instead, use this video as a starting point to discover your own technique. I'll teach you how to practice this technique, and I'll throw in a little pop quiz at the end to test what you've learned. I am so confident in my technique that I'm going to give you a tip for a boss I've never even fought before, because the game isn't even out yet as I'm making this. When you're fighting enemies or bosses with delayed attacks, they have animation to help you see when to dodge or block. Take this boss from Sekiro. He lifts his sword, but he doesn't hit immediately. He waits a second before he swings, and that swing comes fast. How am I timing my parry? I look at his feet. He takes a step before he swings his sword. His feet will land just before the hit, and that's your cue to parry. Here, let me slow it down for you to see. His foot lands, then comes the hit. The step is a signal. Watching their feet is one of the most common methods to judge delayed attacks. When you can see something move, you can see how close the attack is. Here, you look at how close his foot is to the ground. His foot lands before he attacks. Whereas if you can't see it, it's going to be hard to judge when he'll strike. Looking at a moving target is easier to time than looking at an immobile one. Look at these attacks. She's not holding her weapon still while you try to anticipate it. You can see how close the weapon is to your body, so it's easier to time. It's the same concept as this power bar in Kirby's Superstar. The moving bar indicates how close you are to the top. If the bar were gone, I wouldn't know when to press. Here, let me cut out his feet. Can you tell when he'll hit me? Now I'm going to put it back. Isn't it much easier when you know what to look for? Sometimes, the number of steps an enemy takes can also be used to time your defense. I timed this attack by counting his steps. He always takes 2 steps before he hits. You can use other limb movements to judge delayed attacks too. You can look for a specific angle of the limbs or weapon as an indicator of when an attack is coming. No, put your protractor away. You just need to look for a visual guide. I look at his chopsticks. The second the chopsticks disappear behind his body, that's when I know it's time to dodge or release the block button to parry. Or here, I look at his elbow. As the elbow passes over his head, that's my cue to press dodge or block. So look at where the limbs or weapons are angled relative to the rest of the character to judge timing. You can also use animation keyframes to time delayed attacks. Some of them are very obvious. Can you see how I'm timing this? No? Let's slow it down. You see this wire on his chest? When the wire is in this position, I use this frame as my cue to press the guard button for a perfect guard. Let's try another one. Here, I'm looking for a frame from the attack animation. When I see the tip of his crescent halberd, that's when I press the button. I make a mental note of a specific frame in the animation as my signal to press the button. These types of cues last for several frames, so you don't have to press the button on the exact frame I'm paused on. Sometimes they hide little animation to telegraph delayed attacks. Here's the perfect example. First, you'll see all the swirling energy. His extended arm is blurry. Next, the swirl is gone and now you can see his arm clearly. Finally, his arm retracts. That's your cue to press the button. You can use the previous animation as a countdown to when to press the button. What about this slow punch? Do you see it? The arm will spark 3 times, and the attack will come immediately after the 3rd spark. Okay, let's try another Fury attack. Can you see the visual cue? Look at his right elbow. It sparks just before the hit lands. That's how I know when to press block. Look for these little animations to guide you. Okay, let's try this one. Can you see how I'm dodging Topata's attack? No? Here, let me show you again. Still no? That's cause I'm not looking. I'm listening to the sound. There's a pop sound just before he strikes. I don't even need to see him to know when to dodge because I'm listening to the sound. If you can't see visual cues, try listening for an audio cue. I know some bosses have amazing music and you want to hear it, but turn off the music and listen for audio cues from the game. You might be surprised by what sound effects you're not picking up just before an attack hits. You can always turn the music back on once you have enough practice. Next, we have what I call a flash of light. I'm using video from another channel because Wu-Chang actually runs like delayed attacks on my PC. I refunded the game and didn't record anything, but this is how I dealt with the third boss's attacks. It's just as the name implies, you look for a flash of light. The spear in his hand flashes just before it launches. In fact, this boss has 3 moves that can be timed the same way. His overhead staff attack flashes before he strikes. His hand flashes just before he grabs. Here's one from Wolong. Wolong's critical attacks can be parried by looking for a second flash as an indicator. Every single critical attack has a second red flash for a split second to indicate parry timing. The trick is to know where to look for the red flash. Catching a glimpse of it is the hard part. This last technique is something from my Sekiro tip shorts. Check this video to learn more. Basically, I count my attacks to time the defense. What makes this technique a bit finicky is that if you're further away from the enemy, you have to walk up to them, and this throws off the timing. It works better if you're close to the enemy. For games with multiple weapons, you have to understand the speed of your attacks and adjust your timing accordingly. The scope of games covered in this video is tiny. There are so many games and so many bosses I can't cover. Hell, the number of bosses combined just from the games I covered is close to 100. So now, I'm going to teach you how to practice so you can discover your own methods of dealing with delayed attacks. You can record your own gameplay and then slow it down to analyze the moves to see what you can pick out from it. A lot of these cues only appear for a split second. That's why you want to slow down the video. If you can't record, use YouTube. Find someone's fight. It doesn't have to be perfect no-hit runs. On YouTube, click on settings, then select playback speed. Use whatever speed that works for you to analyze the footage and look for keyframes, specific animations, footsteps, or any other cues that might exist. Hopefully, this video will inspire you to look for your own ways to deal with delayed attacks. Now, let's move on to a few general tips to help you out even more. This first tip is actually my first rule of Sekiro combat. Stop spamming the attack button. Most of these games have no way to cancel an attack once you press the button. When you're attacking, you can't dodge, block, or parry. So even if you know exactly when to dodge or block, you can't because you're still stuck in your attack animation. Sure, maybe there's a soulslike out there where you can cancel attacks that I'm not aware of, and that's fine, but that's still not gonna help you in games where you can't cancel attacks. Most bosses will use a mixture of cues that you'll have to spot on your own. Just cause you spotted one move doesn't mean all their moves follow the same concept. If you count the number of steps an enemy takes before they attack, check to make sure that's exactly how many steps they take, and not because you're too far or too close. Some attacks can chase you across the entire screen. My strategies are best used when you're close to the enemy. If you're far away, there's no way the attack can reach you. They're best used when you want to stick close to the enemy to maximize damage. You will need to be close to hit your enemies. Some moves have multiple ways to judge when to dodge or block. Just cause I notice one way doesn't mean it's the only way. Maybe certain ways work better for you. Find what works for you. So, time for a little pop quiz. I'll post the answers in the comments section a few months later. You can post in the comments section on what you think is the timing, or just do it mentally. It's even possible you'll see something I didn't see. Let's start with an easy one from Sekiro. He holds his pose, followed by fast attacks. How am I timing the parries? Here's a game I didn't cover cause I only played the demo. It's this enemy from the first Berserker Kazan. How am I timing this slow 4-hit combo? This is a fun one from the Lies of P. What are you looking for to judge the timing on this one? Now for a tricky one. What am I looking at to time this delayed attack in Another Crab's Treasure? Finally, we have a rapid combo from Wolong, but the combo starts with a delayed attack, then transitions into a rapid combo, and ends with another delayed attack. What am I using to time both of these attacks? I'm just talking about the first hit and the final hit, not the rapid combo in between. Now, let's look at IGN's recent Neo 3 boss fight. I watched it casually out of curiosity, and I've never played Neo. While watching the gameplay, I noticed the keyframe animation for a couple of moves. I wasn't even trying to do it on purpose. It suddenly made me realize this had the potential for a video. I'm going to show you how to time dodging or parry, or whatever defensive method is used in Neo. Look at this run slam. He runs towards you, but then stops with a slightly delayed slam. Look at his knee. This keyframe is the indicator. His knee is very noticeable. When you finally play Neo 3, try it and see if I'm right. Hopefully, this video can shed some light on an aspect that's ignored when dealing with delayed attacks. I want to encourage you to keep an eye out for small details that can help you time your defense. Maybe this will help you see these moves in a new light. Until next time, this is the Illiterate Scholar signing off.